I'm Chastity and I'm a certified yoga instructor. I teach private yoga sessions and I also teach group classes and in-studio classes. So my goal as a yoga instructor is to inspire and empower my students to find inner liberation and peace through yoga, movement, breath work, exercises, meditation, spirituality without dogma, endurance, and love. And I'm here with you today to teach you how to do a vinyasa correctly and safely. My yoga classes are focused around correct body alignment, and I've noticed with my clients and with my group classes that a lot of people are doing vinyasas wrong. And you may not know it because there's not a lot of time in group yoga classes to really sort of nitpick every pose that everyone's doing, because there's usually a lot of people in class. So I'm here today, I'm going to break it down for you, and I just want to ensure that when you go to your yoga practice that you're not going to get injured, you're not going to feel bad after practice, because that's not why we go to yoga. We go to yoga so we feel good afterwards, we feel blissful, you know? When I first started on my yoga journey, I was doing a vinyasa very wrong. And I went into my first yoga class, I went into a beginner's yoga class, and I have a background in dance, so I was like, oh, it's gonna be easy, like no worries, and man, I was so wrong. That beginner's yoga class kicked my butt. And I realized I was doing vinyasas wrong. And what happens is, even when you think you're doing a vinyasa right, you sort of get into this space during your practice where you're just going through the motions. And most injuries from a yoga class come from not being aware and mindful of your transitions. And the vinyasa, especially in a vinyasa flow class, is the biggest transition. So I'm going to break it down for you. So we're going to come at the top of our mat. Now, very important. This would be mountain pose, where you're standing straight, your arms are out, palms are facing out. Now you want to make sure your shoulders aren't up, shoulders are moving down your back, and you're wrapping your arms around, okay? So if you have any hip stuff going on, your feet are going to be hips width distance. If it does feel okay, you bring your big toes together to touch and your heels slightly apart, but otherwise, feet hips width distance is perfectly fine. So we inhale. We sweep our arms up for Urdhva Hastasana. Now here, palms should come to me. It's okay if they don't, but palms should come to me. You're wrapping your triceps around as if your inner armpits could look at one another. Your shoulders are moving down your back. You're pulling your lower abdominal muscles in, and you're looking in between your thumbs. There's a lot going on here. You're getting nice and tall. So we submit a deep inhale. On our exhale, we fold all the way over our legs. Good. Now you can bend your knees here. It's perfectly fine. Let's just take a moment, warm up those hamstrings, wake them up. Good. So when you're here, really make sure your head is loose, all right? You're folding over. You're letting all of this Kundalini energy that gets built up in your spine, and you're just letting it roll down your back out through the crown of your head. Now traditionally, when you come up for a halfway lift, maybe your big toes are touching and your fingers are in line with your toes and you keep your hands there. Now that can be very difficult if you have short legs or short torso or anything like that. So it's okay to put your hands at your shins as you inhale, lift up halfway. Now some people have to micro bend their knees here. That's perfectly fine. Your belly button is pulling in. That's called Uddiyana Bandha. There's a long line of energy from the crown of your head out through your tailbone. Shoulders are moving down the back. Deep inhale. Exhale, we fold back over the legs. We plant our palms and we step one foot back and then the other foot back. So I'm going to break down this vinyasa for beginners, intermediates, and advanced students. So first we're going to do the beginner version. So say I'm in a plank pose, my knees are down. You have energy moving through the crown of your head, out through your tailbone. Shoulders are moving down your back. Make sure you're spreading wide through your fingers here, and you're actually shifting the weight to the index finger and thumb, so you take the weight out of your wrist. Inhale, you shift forward with the body. Exhale, you're hugging your elbows in. You're going to lower your chest and your chin. Okay, your hips are still high. This is very important. Keep that navel in. Deep inhale. Exhale, you untuck your toes. Lower your pelvis down to the mat. Very good. Now, make sure that your fingertips are in line with your nipple points. Hug those elbows together. Shoulders move down the back. Lift your kneecaps. Inhale, come up, cobra pose. You lift your head and you lift your chest off the ground. Now, the biggest thing I see here is that oftentimes people also hover their feet. Okay, keep your feet down. Really press all 10 toenails down into your mat. Another thing I see is our shoulders are up. Pull those shoulders down. You'll see that you can actually bring your heart through your hands a little bit more. Keep your abdominal muscles engaged. I know it feels weird because you're on your stomach. Deep inhale. Exhale, you lower your head back down. Okay, that's cobra pose. After cobra, you tuck your toes. You can inhale, you can press yourself through plank, or just come to hands and knees again. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. So that was a vinyasa you can take if you're brand new to yoga, if you're working through an injury, or if you just need to take it lighter in your yoga practice for the day, you would take that version. Now, to step it up a notch. So say we just did Urdhva Hastasana, we folded over our legs, and we're back in our plank pose. So here we go, we're in our plank pose. We have energy moving through the crown of the head, out through the heels. But at the same time, your fingers and toes are pulling towards one another, so there's a lot going on. All right, if you need to lower the knees, you lower the knees. You still inhale, shift forward. Instead of lowering your chest and your chin, you lower everything down in one piece. Hug the elbows in, lower all the way down, one piece. Now, what usually happens is when I say lower down in one piece, we kind of do this like body roll, okay? And I don't know if it feels good, it doesn't feel good for me, but it's gonna put a lot of strain on your lower back, okay? And we're trying to avoid that in our yoga practice. So we shift forward, and you're lowering down as if you were doing a push-up, okay? Nice and slow, squeeze your elbows into your side waist, nice and slow, all the way down, one piece. Untuck your toes, inhale, cobra pose. Now, you can also hover your hands here in cobra pose. So that way you really make sure your back muscles are doing most of the work. Exhale, lower down. Tuck your toes. Inhale, press up, plank, or hands and knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, so that is a vinyasa for a more of an intermediate, beginner intermediate level if you just wanted to sort of kick it up a notch. Now to go into a more advanced vinyasa, we're gonna take it from the beginning, standing at the top of our mat. All right, so we're in Tadasana, mountain pose. Shoulders down, palms out. There is a slight bend in your knees, but not a huge bend. I wouldn't be able to see it if I was looking at you in Tadasana, mountain pose. Lower abdominal muscles pull up, tailbones reaching down, rooting through those heels. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, wrap those triceps around, shoulders down. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant your palms, step to plank pose. Now, so you're in plank, your knees are lifted off the mat. There's energy going from the crown of the head, through the heels, fingers and toes pulling in towards one another. You inhale, shift forward. Now, you're gonna lower halfway, chaturanga. Hug those elbows in, lower halfway, top of the push-up. Now, the biggest thing I see is that we let our shoulders go below our elbows. That is incorrect. That is not a correct chaturanga. So from plank, you lower so the shoulder is in line with your elbow. You're creating a 90-degree angle. From here, you can lower all the way down, untuck the toes, inhale, take cobra, or from your chaturanga position, flip the toes, straighten your arms, upward facing dog. Now, there are a ton of issues with upward facing dog in yoga classes that I see. One of the biggest things is that our hips and knees are still on the mat and our shoulders are up into our ears. Now, this isn't doing anything for your body. In fact, it's tearing your body apart, okay? So from chaturanga, flip the toes. Hips stay lifted, knees stay lifted, off the mat. The only parts of your body that are on the mat are your toes, tops of your feet, your hands, and fingers, okay? Shoulders are moving down your back. All right, you're moving your heart forward through those fingers and up. Now, I also see a lot of times people look back. It's really bad for your neck. right? You look down the bridge of your nose. Deep inhale. Good. Now your exhale, flip those toes, find plank, then find downward facing dog. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Good. Now that is a more advanced version of a vinyasa. I really hope this is helpful for you. Please watch it as many times as you need to. It's always good to have a reminder and to sort of check in and see how our vinyasas are going. Because again, a lot of times our public classes that we go to, they're only, 45 minutes, 55 minutes, an hour long, and there's a ton of people in there, so it's really hard to get that individualized attention. So it means that you have to be more mindful of your own practice. Again, most of our injuries from a yoga class come from sort of brushing over those transitions, not really caring about them, just trying to get from pose to pose. And yoga is a mindfulness practice, so you have to be mindful of your transitions in order to keep yourself safe and to progress in your yoga practice. Again, my name is Chastity. I'm a private and group yoga instructor. If you have any questions whatsoever or comments, or you just want to say hello, feel free to leave me a comment underneath this video, or you can reach me at my email, chastitynomadicrabbit@gmail.com. I'll put it on the screen here for you. And if you like this video, share it with your friends, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. I really hope this was helpful for you. All right, everyone. Namaste. See you next time.